Order, 7 o'clock, December 2nd, Colchester Planning Commission. Agenda considerations reserved for changes to agenda. No changes?
No, just that maybe under other business, we could have a continued conversation about scheduling that will come out of other parts.
Okay, sounds good.
That's okay?
Yep. Comments, questions from the public, we're good there. Commission discussion, potential items for future updates to land development regulations, supplement 49.
Okay. So this, I think, is the first time we are looking at everything together. It's the whole shebang. I didn't add anything. I mean, I added something, but it was the rest of the language that you were waiting on for something that was already on the list. But there's no new items. And if you guys hurry, I won't add anything else.
Let's go.
All right, so I put everything together. So at the last meeting, I did take out the stuff that you'd already sort of worked through, but I did want you to have everything together, so that's why this is really long. So everything is in here with the hopes of working towards warning a public hearing in the next few meetings, depending on what your comfort level is, or how many edits you want me to continue to make on this, or how much more discussion you want to have. So we'll go through it. If I'm going too fast, slow me down. If I'm going too slow, throw something at me and we'll go faster. Sound good?
Yes.
Okay. A lot of things have not changed. So that's why some of these I'm going to go pretty fast. So real quick, definition of medical office. There are no changes to this since the last time you talked about it. So I did change the memo a little bit just to get rid of some of the backgrounds, you know, trim it down, make it a little bit more efficient in the memo part. But your actual language in here, sorry, it gets a little fuzzy. The only way I can actually copy the red line is I have to paste it as a picture. It doesn't let me copy and paste it. It loses the red line part of it. But hopefully you guys can see that okay. I think the very last change was something about chiropractic services, maybe was something that we talked about. If I recall, as an example. I think that was the last thing that Rebecca, if I recall, asked me to add. So that is where we left. I'm going to leave that up there for a minute because I do want you guys to feel comfortable about this before we move on, and sort of give it a tentative check. Does he read it?
Do I have to go through here?
No, go ahead.
That's up to Rich.
Can I just ask?
Yeah, go right ahead.
So again, typically, the word typically, I'm just wondering, I'm wondering if we can just leave that out. That's one question. And the other question is, you know, I know there's this whole movement for community schools, for providing services kind of within a school building, and, you know, sometimes therapists will use a room in the school to meet with students, you know, just because it's easier for them to access their clients. And I just was wondering if that needs to be clarified, or I'm assuming that's fine. But
You're totally fine, and it's, you know, well accepted as something that's sort of incidental, much like a cafeteria in a school is not a restaurant.
yeah,
Much like anything else that happens in a school or something like that is not its own use. They're known to be totally incidental within that school. You know, the principal's office is not an office.
yeah,
It's all part and parcel of being an educational facility.
okay,
You know, typically, the word typically is included here, I think, because there are some exceptions in the latter part of that sentence, unless you were talking about the typically in the last part of the sentence.
in the last sentence.
In the last part of the last sentence?
It says
I guess
medical
it's used
office
twice.
use does not typically include, it's like if I was wanting to have a massage service, I would say, well, what do you mean typically?
Yeah, so what we would say, and again, these are sort of like the best guidelines that we can offer if somebody is coming in and provide, to allow us to be as consistent as possible as staff as we are regulating these. But we do recognize that, a massage that you'd go to at a spa, a massage that you'd go to in a standalone facility that's offering this is not a medical use. However, there are some very specialized medical massage services. There are ones that do very specialized craniosacral massages that are meant for specific conditions, that are performed with very specific medical intentions in mind, that they could make a case to us in the permitting office that that they are medical professionals performing a medical service, and so we would call that a medical office.
Great,
Even though
thanks.
it's a massage, it's not your typical massage service.
So you
So-
feel comfortable if you thought someone was just trying to just do, like, set up a massage studio, you would feel okay if that would be fine?
Yeah, I think,
If it was just to, treat a patient, if a doctor or whoever said it was needed, that would be okay, which is fine with me. I mean, it just would have to be under the auspices that it's, directed at a medical situation. Okay.
Just adding a
Second.
small amount, just check the table of uses. It seems to me that if a massage service use didn't fall under medical office, it's likely falling under personal service. It's allowed in very similar districts. So I think this sort of just allows for, maybe someone in
More
a medical office
flexibility.
building to maybe have an easier permitting route than having a different use, for
Yeah.
example.
Okay, thank you.
yeah, as I've shared before, more often than not, people don't want to be considered medical office because there's, there's a potential for higher wastewater needs or higher traffic demands. If there's an argument that's made, it's usually that they don't want to be considered medical office more often than that they want to be. This is, the whole goal of this is just to provide as much consistency as possible across staff who are interpreting this so that we're fair.
Okay.
Not trying to play gotcha for anyone, definitely not. So we got a thumbs up for this one?
I think so.
No changes? Okay, I'm gonna mark it as like, good to go.
Yep.
Temporary fencing. I don't believe we made any changes to this the last time we talked about it. Or we did it, but it was in person. No changes have been made outside of this room. And I think we left it where you had unanimous support of it. And actually, I think the very last time we talked about it, we didn't make any changes to it. It was 2 meetings ago. But I'll leave this up for you to give it another look. If you have any thoughts, just let me know. This is almost not necessary, we've talked about it, but it's just one more thing in case there's that weird case again, but it's almost never going to be used. This is not a big item for sure. Feeling good? Okay. All right, food trucks. This one, we did work through a lot last time together. I shouldn't say a lot. But we talked about it a lot. One thing I did get to do, pretty sure I did what you asked. I spent so much time trying to, this had so many colors, if you remember, it looked like the rainbow, because Zach and I were working on it. So I actually spent a lot of time just trying to get it all red again. So that's one thing that I worked on. I think the last thing that you guys talked about, and hopefully I did it, I think it was towards the end. Did I do it? You wanted it to allow, portable toilets. Let's go make sure I did that. Yes, that was here. That was in this B prohibited list. So, that's been updated. We do have one more thing that has to get fixed. So this is really just, I think you agreed that this should be a building and zoning permit. So this is just something that we have to just, I need to put in better language than building and zoning permit. It just needs to be more technical language, but that's an easy update. Policy-wise, I think we're meeting your goal. I just need to have better words.
So you just totally took out the whole porta potty thing?
It was in this, in B, I believe.
Yeah.
So it had said portable toilets are prohibited.
Okay.
And you guys had discussed it at length.
Yes.
And ultimately said, we're fine with them.
As long as they are at the expense and, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay,
So I removed them from the prohibited list.
okay.
You guys changing your mind?
No.
I just have a question about, when you say wastewater in number 3 and then portable toilets, I
Number
think of
3.
wastewater as septic. Am I not, is that not the definition we're using for wastewater?
I'm sorry, you think of it as what?
Septic,
Oh,
as opposed to portable water. I think of wastewater as, a septic system.
it can be. So this would say that there has to be some provision that meets whatever the guideline is for the state of Vermont. So basically what we would say to an applicant is, go talk to the state and bring us something that says the state is okay with what you are proposing. So it'll be really on them. And the state may say, hey, we don't need anything. The state may say, yeah, you're going to be there all summer long, and you've got this planned, and you've got 16 seats, and you need to tell me what you're going to do with all of this. I really don't know what the state will say. And the good thing is I don't need to, but an applicant will have to figure it out.
I did go online. I learned a few things.
Did you?
Yeah. Water and wastewater. This is Department of Health.
I did look at the Department of Health one. I spent some
But,
time with that.
Yeah, but it kind of connects with the
say to go-
Environmental Commission. But it's saying all mobile units are required to have 30 gallons of fresh water and 35 gallons of wastewater capacity. So you can see that. So I thought that was interesting. And sewage disposal, it says gray water must be disposed of in a public sewage treatment plant or in an individual system operated according to local and/or state law. And it also says connecting to an existing water or wastewater system may require a permit from the Department of Environmental Conservation, which is A&R. So it brings up the question whether or not, if they don't hook up to an existing system, they may not require a permit. They may have to go through the Department of Health saying, this is how we're disposing of the water, wastewater, the gray water.
So I think we're still accurate here, but maybe we need to add more. So we do say, let's take a look at this closely. Adequate provision in accordance with the state of Vermont wastewater system, potable water supply shall be provided. We could add to this in accordance with the document that you're referencing.
Vermont Department of Health,
Vermont Department of Health.
because that's an important one to check.
And then I think that the second sentence is still true. The applicant must obtain a state of Vermont wastewater system and potable water supply permit for any on or off premise wastewater disposal. No, that just says,
Well, that's where
On
the tricky
premise?
part comes.
So it seems like there's 3 definitions. There's wastewater, which I wonder if that's like just water that's been used in the, making of the food, and that needs to be disposed of. And there's another category, which is septic. And I'm just getting confused with septic and wastewater. It sounds like there's 3 different types of water. You know, drinking water, wastewater is what you would get if you are washing dishes and saving that water in a container that you need to get rid of. And then there's the portable toilets, you know. So that's where I'm getting a little confused as to,
The portable toilets are self-contained.
right.
They get picked up and dumped. They all
So that doesn't have,
pre-permitted in
Okay.
order to even lease one.
okay. So wastewater must mean the water that you throw out as opposed, right?
Yeah.
When you're
the-
washing dishes. or-
Right.
Okay.
That's what's called gray water.
Gray water, right. Okay, I wonder if it's, okay. Thank you.
So, why am I confusing that? Let's see. Bear with me here for a minute. So let's take a look at this. So that is .16. So I'm going to go directly to our language.
It does kind of make sense that the natural resources would weigh in on it,
Mhm.
and that the Department of Health would, because they want you to have clean water, and so you would want to like mention both of those, I would say.
Where's that blue?
In
Sometimes the
terms of
Department of Health is
Yeah.
more restrictive.
Yeah, for sure.
Because I know that the Department of Health goes like to the fair and makes sure that there's water for hand washing and stuff. So they're 2 very
Just zoom
different
too fast, maybe?
entities looking at these.
Can't handle it.
I don't know enough about food trucks, but I would assume nobody opens without the Department of Health.
I should think.
It's just like a
So.
restaurant
Oh,
snack
right.
bar, I would think you can't open without.
Right, and they probably asked about
Oh, yeah.
sanitary conditions.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so it was just my confusion about wastewater, because like when I think I have a wastewater system, that's my septic system.
Right.
So-
All right, Rebecca, here's what I'm thinking. So, do you see my cursor here? Do you need me to make it bigger?
Yeah, because I don't see a cursor.
Okay, let me add it. You'll see me as I start to type. So here I am in 3.
3, okay.
So I'm going to, so adequate provision for the disposal of wastewater in accordance with state of Vermont wastewater system and potable water supply rules, and the state of Vermont Department of Health
Yeah.
shall be provided. Now let's take a look at that next sentence. The applicant must obtain a state of Vermont wastewater system and potable supply water supply permit. Why don't we say where indicated? The applicant must obtain a state of Vermont wastewater system and potable water supply system. No?
Well, I know that the A&R only deals with, actual wastewater systems.
Where indicated per
And water systems, I
the
guess, where they're getting the water.
Vermont Department of Health guidelines. I don't think it must
Now
have.
you're mixing it all up.
Oh,
A wastewater water permit comes from the Agency of Natural Resources.
yes,
The health guidelines,
but that tells you when you have to get the permit, doesn't it?
Yeah, this pretty much outlines what they need to get the license.
Doesn't that give you the trigger on there?
well, okay. I didn't read the whole thing. Okay. So this is telling you it's a requirement for mobile units and push carts. So if you prepare and sell food from a push cart or a mobile unit like a food truck or trailer, you're required to have a commercial caterer license from the health department. This guide is a summary of those general requirements. So when it gets to, on the back here, it says water and wastewater, it mentions the Department of Environmental Conservation, which covers the wastewater water systems. That's only if you're connecting to an existing water or wastewater system, because that's what they cover. But if it's gray water that's disposed of, like in a public sewage treatment plant or in an individual system that the Department of Health approves, you could go to a restaurant that meets all the Department of Health requirements and dump your gray water, if you have that agreement.
Then I would argue that this sentence is accurate.
Okay.
What do you
So,
think?
Just to clarify, I think that the Vermont Department of Health and ANR are sort of, they're regulating different aspects.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
for example, the Vermont wastewater system and potable water supply rules regulate actually more than just wastewater systems. For example, if you move a parcel boundary line, you might need a wastewater permit, which is kind of funny because you're not actually putting a wastewater system in the ground. It just might affect a wastewater system.
You might have more people on the property.
Yeah,
That's what
so
they look
you
at.
start getting those permits for things that aren't related to actual wastewater systems. They do have a lengthy list of exemptions, and I think exemptions relate to things like, for example, if you're dumping wastewater into a sewage treatment plant, that's likely exempt from needing a wastewater permit under ANR's regulations.
Right.
So I think that the reference here, and, you know, just to clarify, Sarita, I think a septic system is one way that wastewater can be treated. It's one method.
Gotcha.
But there are other methods that might be available. It could be an on-site system, could be a system somewhere else, could be a public wastewater system. So I think this language here, while it is a little lengthy, I think the gist, when I kind of put more in there, was just to say, check with A&R. If you need a permit, get one. If you don't, you don't. Just because I think adding the nuance there, you know, those regulations might change, and we don't want to contradict them.
No, but, so, yeah, I agree with what you're saying, and now that you have, at least they need to check with the Vermont Department of Health. I think that kind of covers us.
So even if, for example, they're exempt from the wastewater rules, it seems like adding in the Vermont Department of Health means that Vermont Department of
They're not in the
Health will
clear
be
yet.
happy with what they're doing.
All right. Any other questions on mobile food units?
This one. So it says that, that it doesn't need lighting and it closes at 9. And I'm just wondering, like, for safety issues, I'm just wondering around between 8 and 9 or 7:30 and 9, if they would need lighting. I can't, you know, I think in the summer you're okay. I don't think it gets dark until 9-ish. Is that? It says that it's prohibited, you know, to have lighting, outdoor lighting. But I just thought of with all these barrels and barriers and cars and stuff like that, if it does get dark, maybe just between 8 and 9. But that's just, I wanted to hear from other people what they thought about that.
Do you guys want to discuss outdoor lighting?
But
I think you
what was the
quickly
goal
talked
of
about
outdoor
it.
lighting? Now that I'm looking at it, the truck itself will have lighting. And they all have lighting.
Well, I think we should be specific.
So,
Yeah.
If you want to allow that. I think the idea, so this is in here, not because I have a personal thought on it. It's in here just because I was trying to represent the most common things that I found across other ordinances. But this is very much your call as a policy decision. but I just wanted something to start from for you guys.
Yeah.
I think the reason that it makes a lot of ordinances is just because, people want food trucks to be as unobtrusive as possible, and potentially adding lighting can start to add to that. But maybe you don't feel that way, and that's okay, and some lighting is okay, and you could say limited lighting, or lighting that doesn't extend more than X feet away from the truck, or, I think there's opportunity here for you if you want to have something.
Maybe after dark or something, or when it's getting dark, just for safety, lighting would be permitted.
But like
Something
flood lighting that attracts people
I'm just
in
thinking
from.
like little Christmas
100
lights, just around the area.
Because if you're not specific,
Oh,
then any lighting would be allowed. And if you're fine with
Yeah.
that, that's okay too.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to tailor your thoughts.
I can see how flood lighting would bother neighbors, and that makes a lot of sense to me, but I'm just, it sounds like they have to close at 9. I'm thinking that probably you can see. It's not dangerous, with cars and headlights and stuff like that.
But you do allow them to be open until
9.
November?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's going to get dark a lot earlier than 9 in November.
Right.
So,
So the outdoor lighting,
Tell
there's
me
no
what you
doubt the
think.
truck's gonna have outdoor lighting.
I think
all
that,
right.
They'll have to
Have
have,
what
like
kind-
outdoor lighting?
you're going to, wherever
So I
you're
would say
ordering,
then
you're
you-
going to have
Right.
lighting to light up your
Right.
area.
You want to remove this, and then
Yeah.
you want to be more specific about how much lighting you want to allow.
Right, so now you're talking permanent lighting for the dining area maybe, or something to that effect.
So let me go ahead and remove that, because as written, none
Yeah.
would be allowed.
Right,
So the way that's written, you wouldn't even be allowed to put like a little flashlight lantern on tables?
I think that would be,
Well, I mean, that's a solution.
I know.
I mean, if it's not,
Yeah.
if that's not considered outdoor lighting, it's,
I mean, in all reality, if it's after 4:30, we would have no idea unless
me,
we get a
it-
complaint from a neighbor.
yeah, to me, an outdoor lighting would be something more permanent.
Yeah, yeah.
Just one note. I think as discussed, you've talked about these being allowed not necessarily on just the property with nothing else on it. Maybe that's the case sometimes. A lot of developed parking lots already do have permitted outdoor lighting.
But I was
So
trying
there
to
is-
think what Briganti's did. I think they had a pole that already had a light on it,
Yeah.
yeah, they did.
and that kind of
Be back to Briganti.
lit the whole area.
I drove up by
Down the road.
I was thinking of you guys, I
What
drove up
doesn't
by
exist
the,
Oh,
the one in South Hero.
Oh,
South
yeah.
Hero?
the rest stop.
The rest stop, and obviously it's closed for the
Right.
season, but I wish that we had just stopped, but we were trying to make the ferry. Um, But I just saw how much like stuff was left behind and like the permanency of it.
Yeah.
And it like it was stuff. It's not like it wasn't like, it was a very clean, orderly area, but like it was a more permanent space. Like it's
there every year.
clearly, it's a site. It is a site meant for the space as opposed to a truck that comes and could be gone and you never knew it was there. So it's like, those are two different things in my mind.
Was the
There's
food
one on
trucks
North
in there?
Williston Road, if you go
The
up
truck
that-
wasn't there, but all
Yeah.
of
Yeah,
the picnic tables,
Yep.
the trash, like bins, like I'm sure they were empty, but they were like heavy-duty commercial. They were all there, like the drive aisle, like, because it's like a packed,
Gravel, yeah.
Yeah.
gravel or something. The truck was not there, but you knew what it was. There was a sign. I think there was even like an electrical pole, like a post, like you'd have a camper, like one of those.
Yeah, it's kind of like an RV.
Yeah, like an RV
Hookup.
sort of like hookup.
And for all we know, they actually had porta potties. I was going to say, maybe they had their own septic system, but I think they had porta potties there.
They had porta
But the truck
potties.
was gone.
The truck was
Yeah,
gone,
so
but
there's one in
you
North
knew.
Williston that's trailer. It's like a 1950s renovated, it's really cool, but it's got skirting around it. It sits here year-round, I believe. I
Which
think
one?
he even open up to Christmas. But he's got his tables outside, he's got the umbrella, a porta potty out to the side.
This one up there?
And
In
North
Williston.
Road, North Williston Road, when you get off of River
Oh,
Road.
near the river.
Yeah, right by the river. And there's a farm market there, and a,
Yeah, yeah.
a meat market.
Is he open year round?
He's trying to. I don't think,
He's got to be in a floodplain. I doubt he's,
Yes, I doubt it too.
that has got to be a floodplain right
Yeah.
there.
But I see that and I'm like, he has to have a little lighting there. The thing doesn't move, so he has to have a way to pump out. But for us, that thing's gotta be gone,
Yeah.
just like this one.
I think that's what I've heard from you guys when we started this
Yeah,
conversation.
Yeah, which is fine.
Yeah.
That's what we're looking at.
Yeah.
Like
But for
you
the outdoor
don't
lighting-
want like the rest stop type, or maybe you do, but it's a different regulation than this.
Yeah,
Yes.
I think that property was developed differently.
Yeah.
I think it was developed specifically for the rest stop. The people owned that property, because what you didn't see was down towards the lake. If you went down the hill a little bit,
Yeah, I
there's a
didn't get down
deck
there.
out there, a little bar
oh yeah.
out there. So this was really built
And
for
it's
that.
not that you couldn't do that, to be clear, it's not that you couldn't do that in Colchester, it's just a different process.
Yes.
You could go through the site plan process
Yeah.
and have a restaurant and do that in places where it's allowed. It's just a different process. You're not falling under this this is the express route.
Yes.
You wouldn't get the express route for something like that.
I just think with LED lights now, it's just so easy to just throw, some LED lanterns up and just provide some lighting so people, especially with kids, just can get, make their way back to their car without tripping over something.
All right, talk to me about lighting.
Lighting shall not what?
Maybe show,
Any lighting should be like,
Downcast.
meet the state local code, it must be
They have no
safe.
choice, has to
in
be
a sense.
downcast.
There's gotta be something.
Does not.
Has to.
it has to be
Because
down.
a lot of them are DIY put together projects and you start putting extension
Mm-hmm.
cords and everything else and, it becomes a whole
Yeah,
other,
problem.
if you permit it, it becomes a whole other issue.
Right.
Good point.
Because you got, surge protector and you got 20 extension cords plugged into it, so the
Right.
guy doesn't know how electricity works, so if you're, allowing it, there's a lot of issues that can arise from it, from fire, electrical standpoint,
Yep.
So right now, I'm gonna put it here, but if we start to talk more about lighting, I'll move it to a different section. Because right now, I've got it in the restriction section. But if we want to get into what it can be and can't be, I'll move it up. Okay, let me ask you some questions to respond to. Start with an easy one. Can it go beyond the property line?
No.
For the flood of light,
Huh?
the
The light,
The
yeah,
light beam itself?
No,
yeah, no.
Yeah,
I would
okay.
say parking,
Yeah.
just access to parking, to get back to parking.
Must it be downcast?
sure.
Okay, okay, so this is good, we're making some. I mean, we do have existing lighting standards, we could build off of
Yeah.
that. Zach can probably even recite them.
I can't, but believe it or not.
Not put you on the spot.
I mean, it doesn't have to be a lot of light, it can be a low-level
Really?
light. Doesn't
You
take
could say,
much.
for example, lighting should not extend more than 20 feet from the truck. That gives enough space for a line and,
Yeah.
and that keeps it pretty simple.
And after sunset, I mean,
People aren't gonna have lighting on during the daylight hours.
right.
Yeah, we don't
So
have
it's
to
the
tell them
same. Yeah.
I'm actually gonna move this up here. Well, no,
Uh-oh.
just kidding.
Didn't like that one.
Yeah, it's funny the way it's formatted. There we go.
dangerous
It's going here.
I feel as if we could put some lighting for safety purposes.
You should say outdoor lighting, because there are regulations for the, inside the truck, but two different things.
Yes.
Do you want to say that? I just-
I
Could you
hate
just
to-
say like lighting for safety purposes only, or something like to narrow the purpose of the lighting?
All right, let's see.
So, I like where you're going with putting this in here, but I will just note that under 1002 outdoor illumination, it's called outdoor illumination, not lighting.
Okay, listening.
1002B has general requirements that require DRB approval for any outdoor lighting that's not on like a single residential unit.
Okay.
So similar to the portable toilets discussion, whatever language goes in here might have to be copied into there, so just,
Okay, well, we could say lighting shall be exempt from section 10.
wait. If you exempt the lighting from 1002, then you
This is what
have
you guys
to then
missed.
clarify that it's, needs to be downcast, shielded, and
I said
canopy beyond the
except that,
properties.
yeah, well, I'm getting there.
Okay, it's 1002.
1002.
Sure.
Except that
No worries.
it must be,
Good call.
and we'll double check this because it's going to need more than
Change the times,
tonight's eyes.
Because we extended the time.
I believe so.
Except that it shall be downcast shielded. And what's the word we're looking for? What's the spillover?
Usually,
Is that the
for
word
some
we use?
reason, the language that sticks out to me in my mind that I can't see in front of me is, shall not emit beyond property boundaries. Oh, sorry, it's do not cast direct light beyond the boundaries of the property.
I think that's what we were trying to say.
Yep, for
I mean,
sure.
we don't have to say like, you know, again, the word safety, somehow I feel like that protects the town too, you know, I mean, in terms of to provide safety for egress or whatever you say, to get back and forth, you know, to your car. You know, that's kind of what, you know, that it's a safety issue, it's not a.
How's that?
What?
First line.
Oh,
Sorry, I typed a little faster
As
than.
you were
perfect,
talking,
perfect.
So I don't know exactly everything that's in
What's-
10.02, but you're saying it's exempt. Does 10.02 cover the brightness of the light? I mean, how much? Because if it's exempt from any kind of
Yeah, we're gonna
restrictions
check
of the light
that.
levels, you could get floodlights that would meet this requirement, and you're going to
I
go,
think
no,
you
that's
should,
not what we meant.
I think downcast and shielded should cover that.
It could still be bright.
I think our brightness, does it talk about stuff only beyond the property line? I guess it talks about an average, right? But we're
No,
trying
I
to not
mean-
have people do like lighting plans. I mean, the lighting standards really require like a lighting expert because they talk about average foot candles and.
Yeah, I know, that's why you're trying to make it as simple as
Yeah.
possible, but I sure don't want a floodlight where they just put a can over it.
So we could just say, how about this? Because I hear that.
It's a tough one. Yeah, it's a very tough one.
Does that
I can
help?
think of other scenarios where it kind of worked, because it's out in the middle of nowhere.
But it's downcast, so even if it was floodlighting, floodlighting, it would be downcast. It shouldn't be getting into anybody's windows in the neighborhood or whatever, right? Is that safe to assume?
Yeah, no, I get it though, because like I put one of those, when I moved in, I had like one of those lights on my garage that the people before me had had, and that thing was bright, and it was shining right in my neighbor's And the first thing I did was like take it down because I was like, my neighbors are gonna hate me and I didn't even put it up.
I hate that when light is shining in my house.
Yeah,
I
and
hate
so we replaced it with a different one that was not casting quite as far and was more downcast. That thing was bright. And I wouldn't have called that a floodlight either, which is what's funny.
Yeah.
It's just really
They
bright.
can be very bright.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think this should take care of most of it. It may not be perfect.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, you'll have another crack at this, and we'll take a look at it again, too.
We'll take a crack at it when the first person puts a food truck somewhere and has all this light.
It'll be more of like a light show.
Yeah.
The place you can get a hot dog.
It could be blue lights, red lights.
One of those big inflatable things that was.
Just go back to put everything in.
No wonder they didn't say no lighting.
That's why, they didn't want to write standards for it.
All this condition have to go to the DRB? You think they need to be conditional?
Yep.
Okay.
All right.
Yep, 'cause you don't want
Anything
nothing.
else on
You
this?
don't want somebody complaining.
Okay.
Anything?
Just one more question. I thought at farms were going to be allowed to have food trucks, because if they have events like a wedding or something.
It's different though.
Yeah, so that's already sort of understood. Anybody,
Because in agriculture, I was looking at.
so
the
it's not
page.
just farms, anybody who's having like an event. So food trucks or anything that's temporary. Actually, I think I
But you
saw
had
that
something in here.
in the health regulations too, which I thought was
Maybe,
kind of
maybe
neat.
I'm just in trouble, because I saw under agriculture, there wasn't a conditional or permitted thing, so maybe agriculture is not considered like farms.
Unless there's some new statute I'm not familiar with that exempts that. But basically, anybody who's just having a special event where the truck is not there permanently, we're going to treat them like a peddler. If they're just there for a day, or if
Oh, I
they're there
see.
less
Okay.
than 10 days.
I was misinterpreting the table, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get it.
So we're going to treat them as somebody who's mobile.
Yeah, gotcha.
And they would do a peddler's permit, and they could have that for the whole year. They just can't be any place for more than 10 days. And a place can't host trucks for more than 10 days. As soon as you cross that threshold, you're starting to have something more permanent. That's what's considered permanent in Colchester.
Yeah, it's anything else.
Thank you. I'm done, I think that's, I think I'm done.
And I'm not saying that that's necessarily happening right now. It is still something we need to work on because we need to do some education and training. Some trucks are really good about getting their permits for everything they do, and some get none ever. So we're working with them, and hopefully if the process is easy, they'll get the permits because it's super simple. And they're not very expensive. Okay. So we're going to add language here. This won't change anything from a policy perspective. It'll just be text. Okay? Anything else? Okay, I need to go back to my memo. Zach, did you have anything to add on that?
No.
Nope. Okay. We're not done on food trucks. Just kidding. Mobile food units are currently in the use table, so we haven't talked about this yet. In your packet, I also gave you a zoning map. So right now, these exist. 8.4, that's that bottom line in this chart, for those of you who have my eyes. That's here. No matter what you do, I recommend you fixing this because conditional use is not a zoning permit. Conditional use means you have to go to the DRB. I did not make any changes, though, because you have some options here. You could change conditional to permitted. Okay? You could change the districts in which they're allowed in. You could remove it from the table of uses altogether, because you do in the standards say these are allowed on non-residential lots. Unless, in your mind somewhere, there are parts of the town that even on a non-residential lot, you think are not appropriate. So I think I would start with that question to you. Are there parts of town, or even on a non-residential lot, where you think having a food truck is inappropriate? So let's start by thinking about that.
A lot of it's driven by the market. For instance, I don't see a food truck going to a storage facility and setting up, because nobody's going to go there. I think it's going to go where the people are. I don't have any issue taking it off, because as you said, we have it covered that it's not in residential area. But I can see people being creative wherever the event or people are going to be the most.
And you do have non-residential zoning sort of scattered throughout the town. That's why I gave you the zoning map. You know, so even up at exit 17, there's a small mixed commercial zoning district, like Jasper Mine Road mostly. That's mixed, right? That allows residential as well.
It's a mix of GD4 and GD1 out there.
There are, although, actually that raises a thought to me.
What's AMU?
Yeah.
Because I can't really.
What district is
Yeah.
an AMU?
I'm just not going to finish it off tonight.
Agricultural mixed use.
Yep.
Mixed use, okay, that's what I could
Sitting
get at
next
it.
to one of the, an owner of a lot in the AMU district.
What's that again?
You're in the, well, you don't live in the
Yeah, not
AMU,
anymore, he doesn't live
but
there.
you own a lot in the
He
AMU.
has property,
Yes, I am.
so we could have a food truck. That's
Big old
permitted
hot dog.
already.
That's right, it's permitted already. I'm good to go.
That actually does make, I'm gonna go back to the food truck language, because non-residential in use, so we don't address mixed use.
I think the thought was this excluded those zoning districts in Article 3.
You mean from the chart, or from this statement here?
Well, this statement sort of, because each zoning district, just so you know, Articles 3 through 6 outline each zoning district in the purpose statement. Some of them are bundled into Article 3, residential districts. Very clearly, those are the residential zoning districts, are 1 through 10, and Lakeshore 3 and 4.
Which we had a long conversation about last year or so, if you recall. Which lots are residential and which are not? Flashbacks? Anyone?
Oh, yeah.
I know, painful. But there are some districts that are mixed. Did they get categorized?
Well, they're in Article
Non-residential.
4, general development districts.
Okay.
GD 1 through 4, and then LS 1 and 2.
LS1 is in that one?
Yes.
Oh, that's interesting. That's the one along the shoreline. That's-
Yep.
But we do see a food truck pretty consistently at one of the marinas.
Yep.
That's true.
So we could clarify, I'm going to go back to this actually while I'm thinking about it. So we
Okay, I think
could
what
very
else is the last one?
specifically say, something like not those listed in Article 3.
Well,
Actually, didn't we
Well-
amend it somewhere else?
so
Where did
A
we
wrinkle.
clarify it?
A wrinkle.
No wrinkles, Zach.
getting specific could cause some issues with Article 6, which includes other districts. Begins with agricultural district, and I get the sense that depending on what's on the lot in the agricultural district, maybe a mobile food unit might be acceptable. Mobile home park district, that one could very easily be interpreted as a residential zoning district.
Oh.
But then there's the floodplain district. I don't
Oh.
think we could permit one in there, but it starts getting a little murky.
So we should keep the table.
Definitely would be simpler with the conditional uses in our table. Then we're consistent.
Or permitting it.
Or permitting, or, yeah,
Yeah.
whichever one we want. That'd be simpler. And we do that throughout. And if they throw the DRB, they throw the DRB, I guess.
For clarity on
What's the difference between conditional use?
zoning
So permitted, it
district,
can go no matter what.
Okay.
So you're all set. I'll put it
Oh,
on
okay,
there.
so you don't need a permit.
allow.
Right, you'll still need a permit, but it's permitted. So you still
Okay.
got to do everything you're supposed to do. Conditional, though, DRB's gonna look at it, make sure you follow the
Zoning
rules,
district
and they say yes, you can
allowance
put it there.
And if it's
Is
blank,
per
it's permitted?
table
No, it's not permitted if
A
it's blank.
dash.
The differences in
That's-
agriculture is that she
dash
said
one.
it's already permitted for events.
But why isn't that here?
Good question.
Oh, okay.
That-
Because I was like, I couldn't-
That part, you can ask that one, I guess.
Okay,
Because I saw the same thing.
okay.
She said under, it is
That's
agriculture
why
is
I was
allowed.
confused about the Cs and the Ps. I was like, wait a second.
Because it's a different animal, that's why.
Oh,
Okay, so now we're talking food trucks versus in-and-out event truck. So you're talking about peddlers, a caterer versus a
Jeez,
food truck is more
jeez.
like a mini restaurant.
All right, let's
Yeah,
see.
It's crazy. We have a lot of rules.
yeah.
This is
See
8.4,
why
right?
people don't like zoning.
All
This'll
right,
make it easier in the end.
so I think we'll keep it.
Right there.
There we go. Okay. So R3, no.
No,
R2,
no,
R1,
no,
R5,
no,
R10,
no.
GD1,
Yes.
Yeah. I wish I could.
GD1C.
Yeah. I was trying to get to the zoning map, so I'm just realizing myself where these things are.
Yeah, sorry. Actually, the zoning map is really hard to see these ones with the C on the end. I don't think that
Yeah.
the overlays are even on there. Yeah, but we can tell you where they are. GD1C is the one that, is that the one that's on Prim Road?
Yes, it's a stretch on Prim Road in the GD1 district.
Okay.
Which we're hoping to maybe extend at some point. But that's the overlay that's on Prim. GD4C is the one up at 17, right?
Yes.
Is it anywhere else?
No.
Okay.
Where is GD4C?
That's the one that like Jasper Mine Road, like some of the commercial businesses up off of Route 7, up off exit
Some
17.
of it's undeveloped land.
Yeah.
Yeah, and some of it's some like legacy businesses. I think
It
there's-
sort of surrounds the interchanges, the interstate interchange.
GD2 is Where?
Fort Ethan Allen
Ah,
and Route 15.
I assume that's a P.
Yep.
Yeah.
GD4. I can't show you both at the same time, so. I should have printed some zoning maps for you, but,
I would say so. That was 17, right? G4.
yeah, I think GD4C is the same general area.
Don't mean to plug in my computer, because I've got this map, I can fly around and point at things.
Yeah, I suppose that makes some sense. You just want this thing?
Yeah. Ooh, sorry, people at home.
Whoa!
All right. Which zoning district?
We
are
were on
talking
GD4.
about? GD4. Here's GD4. I will provide some background because this is not the most intuitive thing to look at. Well, actually, it can be. I'll say.
There it is.
Okay. So you've got Interstate 89, Route 2 and 7. GD4 is basically this area. And it also extends down Route 2 and Jasper Mine Road.
It's good practice for the town plan.
So
Yeah.
where is that, like, exactly?
That's Route 7.
Is that Chimney Corner?
Yes, it is. Yeah,
Yes,
Jimmy.
Chimney Corner.
Okay. Gotcha.
It's sort of this brick symbology.
One of my dreams is to have a zoning map where we can turn on individual layers.
You can just eliminate all the unwanted
Yeah.
ones on the left.
But you can't for the individual zoning layers,
Yeah, I can turn off the overlays,
just the overlays.
which I will do. That cleans it up a little bit.
I dream of being able to turn on just the GD2.
Yeah. So it really pops out where it is.
It's doable, I just need money
Yeah.
and,
Yeah. So the GD4 district ends just at the
Money.
corner of Raymond Road.
Yeah.
okay, LS1, you guys all know where LS1 is.
Yep. But you were just saying that there's some places on LS1 that make sense.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The marinas.
Yeah, I think there was like, I think it was like El Gato was the food truck that was there most of the summer.
Oh, really?
I saw a sign for it. I never stopped there. They didn't have a permit.
The shopping center thing, someone could, I guess.
Yeah. I think the marina, I don't know who their audience was. I don't know if it was drive-bys or if it was like people coming in off of boats. I'm not really sure, but
Which marina?
I think it was at Saba, right?
Bay Harbor?
Bay Harbor, I think.
Bay Harbor? No, which?
Bay.
Bay Harbor's the one way
Champlain
down.
Marine.
Yeah.
No, this was the one,
There's two of them right side by
the
side.
nice one. The
Yeah.
really nice building. Not that the others aren't
the
nice.
newest- the
Anyone
newest
watching at
one.
home.
Yeah, I think
That
it's
one-
the Sabra.
Mark Sebas.
Saba.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It was-
I think they
Oh.
call it Bay Harbor.
Is that what it's
Right.
called? It's Bay Harbor?
Yeah, they do call it
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Nobody calls it
With the
that.
Adirondack building.
Yeah.
That one.
Yeah.
With the big
why-
parking lot.
Why aren't there more Ps under LS1?
Oh, Sarita.
What?
That's a
It's-
can of worms.
Huh?
That is a very good question, but not one we're going to answer tonight.
Okay.
No.
I don't have an answer for you. That's an answer. You guys will have to answer that. But at some point, if you ever want to explore LS1 and go through Ps and Cs and blanks, do it when I'm sick.
Yeah.
You can make it your
I'm on
lot.
vacation that
It's a
week.
lot.
you can make it your first order of business after the town plan.
Yeah, yeah. It's a
I'm just
lot of
kidding.
people that want
Yeah.
to be a part of that.
Oh.
No, you'll just have a lot of interested folks, which is fine. I think, participation is great.
So what you're saying is someone has already had a food truck in LS1.
Yes. Yeah, I think, so you're okay?
There is some residential in the LS1. So
There is.
They
But they wouldn't be allowed to.
they wouldn't be,
You'd
yeah,
have to
but
be able to
their
fit.
neighbor could.
And we could put I don't think it needs it, but we could put a little asterisk or footnote. It is not necessarily permitted, it's still. All right, LS2, so if LS1's a P, then LS2 is a P.
Yeah.
For sure.
LS3,
No.
why is that italics over there?
Getting a little tight
LS3,
there.
LS3 doesn't have any way to put.
Yeah.
LS3 is a no, LS4,
On that road.
Yeah, that's,
Well, the LS4 is an interesting one,
Yeah.
because there's that one commercial property
the
on
old,
the corner of Williams Road,
the old,
and then where
It's like
the,
a-
What was that? Like a
and where the
chicken
old
place or
food truck
something?
used to be.
Yeah.
yeah.
Is that in
I wanna
LS4 or is that in
open a place there,
LS2?
bakery
That's
or
actually two, I
some
think.
Okay.
Wait, which one
Restaurant.
was that?
Fries, fries?
Oh, it's two.
Could be a
Two.
food truck.
Okay, so that one's already covered. So yeah, I can only think of that one property,
Yeah, the bottom of Williams,
yeah.
yeah.
That'd be nice to have a coffee shop or some little restaurant there. People could walk to.
What'd you
bite
say?
to.
I said it's kind of stuff, you don't have to worry about it. They're going in.
Yeah, just to clarify, I think that lot is condo lot
Is it technically
on a
residential?
residential property,
Yeah,
so.
But didn't it used to be a
I mean, it's-
business?
yep, did.
Used to be a chicken place, right?
That's
Yeah,
nice.
and then it was a hardware
It was a
store or
convenience
something.
store.
Isn't there
Yeah.
another place up the road that sells like monuments or something, too?
Pepin, he's officially going.
It's right on Bay
Road.
Road, just as you're turning
No,
out to
before
be-
that, isn't there another one with like something on like the first floor?
The one with the American flag on it, on the roof?
There's GD1 over on the corner.
No, I'm before the corner, because I know the Pepin one. On the LS4 side.
No,
There's not another one?
Anything on the LS4
Like
side.
commercial?
There's a large, like, pavilion style building over there where they have like a bunch of like chairs around the fire and stuff. Is that what you're
Oh,
thinking about?
no. Still much further up where it's more dense. Well, that's a fascinating property.
Yeah, isn't it kind of family-owned?
Yep,
Yeah.
school.
Yeah.
So if someone where that chicken place used to be aware that, you know, where they're storing equipment now, if someone wanted to put a food truck on that lot, could they?
So as written here, it has to be residential zoning and residential use. And you haven't,
Non-residential zone.
or non-residential, sorry.
That's the only one,
And you didn't give me a P for LS4, so no.
I was going to say, if that's the only piece of property in
Right.
LS4, I would say,
If you go up further, there's a parking lot also. And it's used as a parking lot. And that's the only two open spaces I know of.
So
is it
that
just an
one's a
open
C.
parking lot?
It
Yeah,
has
it's a big
nothing right
grass
now.
parking lot.
Oh,
Yeah, the camp, across the street.
It's
owns it,
currently
yeah.
not permitted at all.
Richards and all those boys use it.
Yeah.
But there was a store there at some time, right?
Yep,
At some point, there was a commercial property there.
yep,
I guess.
Yep.
I mean, you guys tell me. That
absolutely.
predates
Yeah, there was a
my time.
convenience store there forever.
Oh, what?
A convenience store
It
forever.
was a convenience
Andy
store?
Cohen. Yeah, he was a select board member for a long
How long
time.
ago did it close?
4 or 5 years?
He got out.
A long time.
a long time ago.
But could that be a
25 years
restaurant? I mean, could that be permitted as a restaurant at some point in the future?
I'd say if it was
Think there would be-
pre-existing non-conforming and it hasn't been used that way, then no. You lose your non-conforming status after a year.
Gotcha.
And if it's been 25, probably not. Unless they can make some case that they're still operating.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
There
also
there
it's
really
very
isn't
limited.
a safe place to put it.
no, I was
But if you
thinking
put it in a
traffic for a
building,
food truck, I don't think it's desirable in that area.
Yeah, so leave it blank.
Yeah,
That's my
LS4 is a no.
I have a
Yeah.
coffee shop.
it's not-
that would be nice.
I could ride my bike on the bike path and go to the coffee shop.
All right, commercial
I hear
district.
you, I know what you're, I know. Wish I could walk one too.
Zach will show you commercial district, that's down by 16.
It's actually not entirely down by 16. There are some dispersed commercial areas around town.
Oh,
But generally, it's the inner core of Water Tower Circle, Mountain View Drive, extends up a portion of South Oak Circle, and I believe it also dips down onto Lower Mountain View Drive and ends at Costco, also on the other side of the highway as well on South Park Drive. It does appear in a few other areas around town. Property on Main Street that you might know of as the Spanked Puppy.
You got Bay Road property, New Richards, it's commercial.
Yep, and also property on Main Street, kind of a legacy contractor's yard. So there's some dispersed commercial property, commercially zoned properties around town.
P?
Sure.
P.
All right, industrial. P?
Industrial properties.
Are you saying P or C? P. Oh.
I would encourage you no Cs. Either yes or no is basically what we're saying. Conditional use would require it to go to the board. And the whole idea of this is to not go to the board.
I'd say, yeah,
Yeah, I don't know where all the industrial is. It's
Hazlets,
just-
places like
The
that.
portion of Hazlet, Wickham's Quarry, some
That's an ideal
properties
place.
along the railroad, between Main Street and Sand Road, off of Depot Road. Those are also zoned industrial.
BD, which is what, business?
Business district, sort of periphery of the commercial district, Ratty's, Myers, couple properties past Costco. I believe there's some other ones, but yeah, those are mainly them.
Agricultural, not to be confused with agricultural mixed use.
Say, yeah.
Say yeah.
Let's take a look at all the agricultural properties.
So generally, agricultural properties are kind of this white with a little like tree on it, I think.
It's a whole lot of the quiet parts of,
East Road, Middle Road, Roosevelt High, well, not Middle Road, sorry, portion of Mill Road.
Mill Pond.
Roosevelt Highway, Mill Pond, Poor Farm.
now as written, this does say commercial use and commercial zoning. So if Wendy owns a house on East Road and she's in the agricultural district, that still doesn't give her a food truck. But if Colchester Paintball, are they on their own property? There's their house there.
Paintball?
Yeah,
There's no house in paintball.
there's no house there.
No.
So theoretically, assuming Colchester Paintball is legally permitted,
Can't work.
maybe, sorry,
What about Colchester Pond?
not a non-residential use.
Is there anywhere around Colchester Pond that they would be permitted?
Isn't that the Winooski Park District that owns the property around it?
Yep. It would have a fit.
Do they? Oh, I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
I thought Colchester did.
No.
Just thinking where there's a lot of people, that would buy food and have to pay local option tax.
Again, so theoretically, I think there's very few properties in the agricultural district that would even qualify under this.
Mill Pond Road would not be welcomed, I'm sure.
Oh, Mill Pond Road?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think it'd be
that'd
welcome either.
welcome.
They
So
don't
you
want, they don't want the kind of traffic.
No,
So a no?
no.
You originally said yes.
But you're-
What if a farmer wanted to have, just have weddings once in a while?
That's
at their-
different, though.
Are we permitting that? Or-
That would be public, though, wouldn't it?
That'd be
They
what?
wouldn't need a permit for that.
What are we talking, are we?
Well, it says agriculture, that's why I'm confused. If a farm wanted to kind of have a side business or another business in terms of a wedding venue,
You're on a whole different topic.
where we are, okay. So, and just have
Yeah.
a food truck, have like 4 food trucks pull up for the wedding,
Yeah, again, so I think I've repeated this a few times.
probably. It
If you
takes-
have,
Thank you.
yeah, if you have like an event,
Yeah,
yeah, and you have a truck come. Now, again, even if you're a farm, unless, there's some new exemptions in statute that are sort of wishy-washy, half accepted. To become, you can host less than 10 weddings a year and not change your use.
okay.
you know, if Rich wanted to turn Shadow Cross into a wedding venue.
You just think about it.
Come on. It'd be very unique.
I guess I just don't understand, why doesn't ag have something like conditional or something on there? Because it looks like no, that, I might be not reading this right, that's what I'm wondering.
Because I think, I mean, I guess, I mean, I didn't write this, because the ag lands are pretty extensive throughout Colchester. I mean,
Yeah.
and they're not like, keep in mind that places like Sam Maz's farm, those are in the AMU districts, so they're different. And those, I think we're trying to recognize that it's sort of a ag plus district. And I think that that sort of came ahead of a lot of this newer state legislation about giving more to enterprise ag, which I think we're going to see even more of in the next few years. It's something that seems to come up every year.
On this map, though, it shows us everything is just agricultural, though, for like mazes and all that stuff.
Really?
Yeah.
Well-
Should be in the same district as like Rich, as,
They're next door to each
I
other.
don't know, nothing sent this, but maybe on that one it is, but.
oh,
Yeah, it looks like here it is identified in a slightly different
Yeah.
symbology as the,
but not in the one I sent you. No, that's a problem. All right, I'll look at that, because that's been, what, a good 8 or 9, or, I mean,
What's that?
since the AMU district, 10
How
years?
long?
Yeah,
Over a decade,
yeah.
yeah, about 10 years. That's when I first
Not a
got
new
on.
district, I mean, it's not a forever
No.
old
but, yeah,
district,
it was
but
about, just about 10, I would say.
10? Okay, but you guys can see it there now? That's the, so can you see like the, see it?
No, I know where Rich's property is,
That's there.
yeah.
So if you
And
go,
below that, that's Maz's?
Yep,
Okay.
Yeah,
that's,
never mind.
that's the store. And the
Yeah,
greenhouses
that
all
makes
lined up.
sense, okay.
And the
Yeah,
cornfields all,
and then on the other side, where it's
That's
just
berries.
that's the berry farm, right?
yep, that's the
Yeah.
berries, yep.
But that's still Maz's.
Right, they left it as agriculture.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I think it's more like deeded land, right? It's undevelopable land.
No, that can be developed if we change the zoning on it.
Okay.
That's why it's left. They don't know what the future will be.
Oh, okay. So it's the other one that can't really be developed then. There's something about
Yeah, there is,
property.
my guess is they're in current use, but you can pull things out of current use at a cost.
I don't know if it is. Some of the land is, but I don't know if that is.
Yeah, I don't know
I don't think
which
they- yeah, I don't
is.
think
I
it's
saw a
big.
list once upon a time of what's in current use.
Yeah.
So right now, you'd be permitting food trucks on one side
Yep.
of Maz's property, but not on the other, not in the berry farm.
Not,
Yeah, or further up on Fort Farm Road.
so just
yeah,
a
it's another place you
question.
wouldn't want to stick
Yeah.
food trucks is on Porter Farm Road.
Seems like you have some concerns about food trucks on some of these roads. I never went to the food truck where Sunderland Farms, development now is.
Yeah,
Briganti's, I think you've
yeah.
told you it as. That being on Severance Road, was there anything, was that a favorable memory that you have?
Oh,
of it?
yeah, oh, yeah.
absolutely.
It was the summer place to go.
Yeah, so you had your fields, and then you have a big old parking lot, and then you've got their
That's
food
right.
stand, and they had
Now it's
canopy
all
on the
coming
side of
back
it.
to
It was permanent. It went in and it did not move for the
Well,
season.
it did,
For the season,
for the season, yeah.
Then
They would
after the
remove their
season.
trailer.
yeah, it was well done.
I remember it, but I've never stopped there.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
They're
It was-
classic.
Yeah, it was the summer
Food was
Great
stop.
classic.
Michigan, great french fries.
Yeah.
yeah, perfect.
I don't know why I never stopped there.
You went there at least once a week.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure.
But I do
Kids
remember
used to
it.
walk up there.
And if you lived in Colchester for any given time, you knew the Brigantes.
Oh, yeah.
Best corn,
Yep,
for sure.
yeah, that was Coke. He wasn't the farmer,
Yeah.
not Coke. Frank. Frank wasn't the farmer.
Frank and Dottie.
Coke and those were the farmers, and they owned the back piece.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you were on the main drag,
Yeah.
so it wasn't really like agriculture. It wasn't like setting them down Porter Farm Road.
Yeah.
And now that's the growth center.
Yeah, now it's a growth center, just like that.
A whole different world now.
Yeah.
But I think you got to keep in mind that this is probably, if I had to guess, our biggest zoning district by land area.
Yeah.
Can
And
we-
so you would be opening up potentially that to a lot of properties. So,
Doesn't feel to me anyways that most of the agriculture is set up for that sort of activity.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think the majority of it is not.
Right, there might be portions of it. Can we
Yeah.
keep that one conditional?
Well, you can still get a peddler's permit.
Yeah, but that's for events, but setting
it's
something
actually
up
not
for the
allowed right
season-
now. It's not conditional.
It's not
Oh, no.
It's simply not allowed.
Not allowed at all.
So you wouldn't be changing anything at all.
Okay.
It's not allowed now?
Yeah.
It's not allowed? Well, that wouldn't be a change.
Yeah.
It is permitted in the agricultural mixed use right now.
Right.
Yeah. And that's a whole different.
It's already a P. It's the only P.
It is the only thing.
It's the only P.
Was.
It's the only way, if someone owned a farm and they really wanted a food truck on it, they'd have to change it to agricultural mixed use, rezone it.
Come to us and have us put a C in there.
But right now, we don't have this.
Right now, we don't have anything.
We don't have anything.
I'm okay
Yeah.
with that.
I mean, I don't
honestly.
see a big, I don't.
Because most people don't want, if you're not located, Briganti's was unique. Most of the agriculture stuff we have now, they don't want people actually going into it. They don't want new people come into their property unless they're pick your own or something like that style. Otherwise, you're not inviting more people into your property. That's the way I look at it.
You mean the other Brigantes, the one on Mel's Bay Ave?
No,
No, just
like
agriculture.
Briganti's has a farm stand, the little one, Dan, has a little farm stand. So you drive down into it.
On
So
Mount
he
Bath.
invites people into there, but if you have like a corn operation, like Cinesac's, you don't want them to be driving off into your corn operation. So I don't see where they'd even want that.
Yeah. Just don't think there's a lot of traffic that way. I mean, I'm thinking the bike path and the lake shore.
Yeah,
That's what I'm thinking. I think we could, collect a lot of money that way, but that's just how I'm thinking. To, get people's taxes down.
All right, well, I'm going to keep us moving.
yep,
Okay.
I
Yeah.
think I heard mostly no's on agriculture. Keep the P for agricultural mixed use.
Yes.
All right. I'm going to go back to my memo.
Pretty like
Oh, yeah, they can't see what I'm doing.
you can go back to the memo and watch that take the minutes.
what's that?
What's MHP?
Mobile home park.
Mobile home park.
I just assumed you were fine with.
Yeah, no, one in that. No floodplain, okay.
Okay. Auto sales use. Nothing since last time. So, pretty simple here. Rich is all excited.
Boy,
He's like,
I have the same problem.
I don't have
It's just-
We've looked at this many times. I have nothing
In there.
to say. I'm not going to boil the ocean here.
Yeah, I think it's good.
We're good?
Yeah.
Okay.
Beat that horse.
Umbrella approvals. So there's some changes here. We did the first part of this last time. So I'm going to walk you through this one a little bit slower. There's my little chatter at the beginning. I'm not going to repeat that. So The purpose of this is, what do you do when you have multiple tenants, single building, they change over? How do we help to like trim down the paperwork, trim down the delays and time associated with it? So this first part we talked about last time. Existing approvals, multi-tenant properties, multi-tenant buildings, changes in occupants. How do we do that with just a zoning permit? Because right now it's often more. We use a cumulative use table, we use this a lot, that requires them to give us the information that we need for wastewater needs, traffic needs, parking needs, et cetera. Sometimes it's depending on what it is, how many employees do you have, how many square footage is devoted to each use, et cetera, et cetera. And some properties are really good about just keeping that up, and some less so. Is that accurate?
Yep.
Less so. This was sort of left undone last time. So what about new ones? What if I'm building a multi-tenant building and I'm like, I want to sort of remain with some flexibility, or I want to think ahead. How do I make this nice and easy up front? Like, I'm on Water Tower Hill, for example, because that's where we see, you know, larger buildings with multiple tenants. Strip malls aren't really allowed anymore under Act 250. So, but they still pop in here and there. So we could let somebody set up a cap up front and say, here, I'm just gonna set up, you know, what's like worst, best, highest case scenario. And I'm gonna plan for that. And anything that comes below that threshold, I've got approval. For this for my parking, this for my, the wastewater's a different animal because it's not handled in-house anymore. Here's my approval up front. So here's some language that talks about this. We talked about this one last time. These are the things that would be excluded from site plan review. Changes in tenants, yay, you don't need to get a site plan, even if it is administrative, it does take some time and some money. So if you change to another permissible use, or you change your tenant, provided that those changes don't increase your stipulated allocated parking, wastewater, water requirements. Don't exceed previously approved vehicle trip ends, and don't otherwise propose to modify the use of the property, like, hey, we now need 6 dumpsters because we're going to be a restaurant and make a lot of trash. So as long as you're not doing any of that, easy peasy zoning permit. Did talk about that last time. So here's the new stuff. I tried to highlight in blue. I forgot to put that in my memo. Blue stuff's new stuff. 805G is all new. Umbrella approvals. So I put it into 805G, which had previously just been a reserve section. I loved reserve sections because they're like just waiting for me to fill in now to add a new section.
You got one.
Because when you add new sections, you run the risk of having to cross-reference stuff. So the Development Review Board may approve 2 or more separate uses in a single principal building or structure in conjunction with site plan. So this is not a zoning permit, to be clear. This does require more work. It does require you to go to the DRB. But this is like an upfront thing that you can do ahead of time, get everything approved by the board, and then it makes it easier later. This is you setting your foundation for your later changes. Even if those uses are not to be immediately in use. So I'm building a building. I know that I might have, conceivably in this building, I know the type of building. I'm Water Tower Hill, for example. I know that I largely going to have general office, I might have a few personal services, I might have, I'm not really into rec spaces, I'm not worried about that. I don't do restaurants up there, or they're not allowed, but I have a few things that I know are possible up there. And I think about, okay, here's my mix, if I do 50/50, or here's the worst case scenario, medical office requires more than general office. I'm going to permit the whole thing with medical, general, all of these as approved uses for this building, but I'm going to make sure that I'm providing enough parking, wastewater, and traffic accommodations for the highest use of those. I'm going to treat it as though it's 100% medical, because that's the highest draw. And I'm going to plan for that. But the board up front is going to tell me, you're also allowed to have all of these other things because they're less intensive. And so you've already got this cap in here. And then going forward, if 50% of my medical office building, or my building, is actually filled instead with a general office or personal service or something else that was approved up front by the board, I've already got my approvals. I've already planned for that scenario. And the board, because this is a board review and not a staff review, the board will ask those questions. And if there are disparate uses where they're like, you're planning for 100% medical in a 60,000 square foot building, sorry, that's too much parking. We don't want to give you that up front. They would have that ability. We're not going to give you worst case scenario or highest case scenario, but they could. But because they're the ones doing their review, they're able to do that. But once you set that cap, that's your cap until you go back to the board to ask to change it. And anything less than that, you're good to go. You don't have to keep doing site plan changes. So that's your umbrella. That gets you all those approvals up front. You don't have to approve precisely up front, especially if you're trying to build a building that's not quite on spec. And you don't really know what your tenants are yet. You're just building the building. And you hope you get a great tenant on the first floor and the third floor, but you don't know yet. So you want the board to approve 6 uses, but you honestly don't know what that breakdown is yet. This allows you to do that.
This would definitely be positive for the builders in the growth center when the time comes.
Yeah, I wonder if we'll get, well, I hope we'll get some mixed-use buildings over there.
Yeah, really,
Yeah.
so housing.
Someday.
Someday. Hopefully someday soon.
So restaurants aren't allowed at Tower Hill?
Currently, no. If I recall.
Why is that? Why is that? I mean, that means everybody has to get in their car or drive somewhere to get something to eat,
I
right?
don't know.
They have it in cafeteria and Marble.
They do? Okay.
At least they did.
Yeah, I think as an
Well, now
accessory
we have all
use.
food trucks there.
Yeah, that's right.
See, in the winter.
That's looking- I think I've heard that it's not, but I could be wrong.
It just makes, somehow it just makes sense to me to have,
Yeah, Water Tower Circle is mainly in the commercial district where restaurants with outdoor seating, without outdoor seating, short order restaurants, they're all, that's permissible
they are
uses.
permitted?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
heard that
I
they
thought you
were.
said they weren't, so that surprised me.
All right, we'll follow up on that later. I believe what you're seeing, you know the conversation I'm talking about, right?
I think so, I don't.
You can see
Oh, yeah, for sure.
that view.
Yeah.
That'd be such a neat.
So, this allows you, again, to do that and just simplify everything for everybody.
It makes a lot of sense to me
Yeah.
when I read it.
And, I think, this is going to be something that I think we'll have to tweak as we go. I think we're going to learn because it's sort of new. But I hope it's a good start and we'll fix it if we need to.
Yep.
Okay? And don't forget, the other thing that we talked about as part of this update is to create a single use for those office buildings too, so maybe it's not necessary for some of the large office buildings, which is somewhere in this update, which we'll get to. Use. I almost just deleted it all, and I'm like, no, we're done. Because I think I've given you guys some gray hair on this one. But I think last time we made everybody happy.
Yes.
So what I did when I left, because it wasn't done, was I got rid of, bear with me, that's all existing regulations, ignore all that. Let's get down to the good stuff. That's just an update to make sure we're consistent with statute, because accessory uses are now in, ADUs are now in 2 sections of statute, not 1. This is to be consistent with statute because we had said gross area, habitable floor area is from statute. Included in here, almost all this we did together. I have not gotten to this to fix the colors. Oh, I don't need to fix the colors. Green is moved. So it was pre-existing language, but it was relocated. What we did do, here we go, include basements but exclude garages. So here's my new update for you. Oh, I meant to bring my book. So I got rid of the definition of finished had been a draft. I got rid of that. I added habitable floor area because that's in the definition, so I figured we'll just go right to it. And habitable room. These come from, I have a book in my office. It's not perfect. Actually, in some cases, it makes me want to bang my head against it. But I have a book called like The Complete Book of Development Definitions or something. It's like, have you seen this book?
Well, no, I have a similar book about architectural definitions.
Oh, I wonder if it's from the same publisher. There's actually 2 versions of it. It's kind of thick, like a dictionary. And it is, it's like a dictionary. So they have definitions in there. This is not identical to their definition. I actually think their definition is somewhat garbage. I should have brought it so I could have read it to you, but I used it as the base and I worked from it because theirs was like, habitable room was, there was a real problem with it. Because it said something like closets are not habitable, and so you had to deduct all that stuff, and I'm like, I'm not getting into that for the purposes of this definition. Stairwells are not habitable. So we have habitable room and habitable floor area. That does come from that definition. So habitable floor area, some of all habitable rooms. Habitable room, any room or enclosed floor space in a dwelling unit used or intended to be used for living, sleeping, or eating purposes. Garage and shed spaces, this was per your direction at the last meeting. Unless explicitly approved for habitation. So that was to address the space above a garage or a garage that's been converted, just to get rid of any confusion of like, it's a garage, it looks like a garage, but we live there. Explicitly approved for habitation are not considered habitable rooms. Attics intended or used for storage, crawl spaces, and basements without solid flooring, that came from our discussion last time, are not considered habitable.
Nailed it.
There you go.
Good one to test out.
Try it out.
Anytime you're trying to figure out what size an accessory dwelling unit is, it gets complicated.
I think if nothing else, we'll at least achieve consistency,
Yeah.
which was half the goal.
Yeah.
Um,
So where it says attics intended or used for storage, what if the attic is being used for storage, but they change their mind and they want to remove the storage and put up an ADU? I mean, if it's intended for storage, that's one thing, but, I mean, I've been in houses where I've used my attic for storage, but then turned it into like a guest bedroom.
I think the reason it says intended is like, if somebody just has this sort of like attic-y, like I have an attic-y space in my house. It's, you can't stand in it, you have to actually be careful up there or else you're going through somewhere.
Oh, yeah,
But I don't actually have anything up there.
okay,
So I'm not using it for storage,
right.
but it's kind of intended for that. Do you know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah,
That's why
I
I've
see
got
the
the-
rafters with the insulation in between in an attic, but
Yeah.
if someone was just had a space that could be converted.
Yeah, I would consider, if somebody brought that to us, we would probably consider that habitable
Okay.
space. If you could put a bedroom in there tomorrow, maybe not a bedroom, bad example, rec room.
Yeah.
If you could put a rec room in there and live in there tomorrow, that's habitable space, right? You could stand there, you could walk, you have access to free-flowing air, not asbestos, and, you
But
know.
if you
See,
could convert
If
it,
I was looking at an old house as an architect saying, okay, this client wants an ADU, and I'm looking at the attic, it's not finished, it's cold, it has no heat up there, I would say that space is uninhabitable. It doesn't get included in your calculations for your ADU.
Yeah.
But if they had already have gone and fixed it up, put heating up there, finished walls, I would say that's habitable space, and that could be included,
I think that's how I would interpret it in our office, too.
okay?
Because I
But
think
I don't
if-
think that's what this is saying.
that's how I would read it, but maybe that's just me, because I wrote it.
But you say used or intended to be used. So
Right.
you're saying the attic, even though it's unfinished, nobody can sleep up there, you're saying it's intended, it could be used for it. But as a designer, I would not look at that as a habitable space. I would not include that in my calculations for determining how big the ADU could be.
That's what
Right,
it
because
says,
its
though,
use
right?
is storage.
No, it
You don't think so,
says,
that last line?
no, I'm saying the first line, any room or enclosed floor area in a dwelling unit used or intended to be used for living, sleeping, or eating purposes. I'm saying an attic that has enough headroom but is not finished.
Is not intended to be used for living,
Get
sleeping,
rid
or
of,
eating.
Or intended
right?
to be used.
From what I heard, is that if it's intended to be used in the future as a habitable space, right?
Well, that's not what I meant to say. If I
Okay,
did,
well,
I'm
that's
sorry.
why, that's where I'm getting
Yeah.
confused then.
Yeah, I think I thought Sarita was saying, like, if she got it prepared and ready to go as a living space. I assume she meant finished at that point. Which would transition it into a space meant for living.
Yeah, it can go either way.
Does that mean-
This is where you're going to get people arguing that, oh, that attic can be finished, so it's intended to be used. It's not right now. Anyway,
Yeah.
it can get tested.
but
but-
can you discern, like when they come and like decide if they can get a permit at that time?
Yeah, yeah, I mean, that's what we do now. And our goal is to just get closer than the definition. You know, hopefully this gets us at least a lot closer than what we have now, which is almost nothing. Um, I'm not really sure how to get us to a perfect spot. I think we've been trying for the better part of 9 months.
I think the intent is to create more housing, to create more spaces.
Yeah.
So, anything that helps achieve that would be great.
I mean, the good thing is, I included attics here, but I don't know that anybody's ever come to us with an attic request. I only have a sample size of 4 years, but
No. I think
guess-
someone will tomorrow. Knowing how things work. But
thanks. I know, I shouldn't have said it out loud.
I think the most common things that come in are
Basements and
unfinished
garages.
basements, garages, 3-season porches.
Oh. Interesting.
And people have their own definitions of a 3-season porch, so that's a whole thing you have to unpack. Attics really don't come in.
Interesting.
Well, most modern houses have trusses up there, so there's just no way. It's more the older houses, the inventory, where there's actual rafters, so you do have headroom up there. You're not walking through trusses. That's where it usually comes up.
But it sounds like you have discretion, so.
Yeah, my goal is to sort of reduce the amount of, we'll always have discretion, but my goal is to reduce the amount of time we have to use that discretion, because we want to be consistent, we want to be fair, we want to be
If you
predictable.
lost or intended to be used, that takes care of it.
Yeah, we'll feel it out. I hope it's good enough. I think addressing the garages and basements is going to go a long way. And I think you guys have reached the point after a lot of discussion of giving us good feedback on your intentions there. So I hope at least this does that and meets what you want for garages and basements. I don't know. Maybe I'll be back in front of you in 9 months saying, hey, remember this?
The old attic?
Let's talk about it again. Do you think it's good enough to go forward, or do you want to work
Yeah, I
on
think
it
it's worth
more,
a
or
try.
What do you
Yeah,
think?
me too.
Do you feel okay?
If you're comfortable with it, for sure.
Okay,
We trust you guys.
all right.
Was there any discussion about limiting the maximum size of a ADU?
We can't, per statute.
You
There's no
could.
max.
Thought you could.
You have to allow up to 30%.
Well,
No max. So if you have a 10,000 square foot mansion, you get 30% of that.
3,000 square foot ADU.
Now, a lot of that's going to be empty space because you are allowed to, it has to be accessory. And it's been commonly accepted that, and subordinate, that a definition of accessory and subordinate means less than. So if the main house has 3 bedrooms, you can't have your other one having 5, your accessory. So if you end up with a 4,000 square foot ADU, I don't know what 2 bedrooms and 4,000 square feet looks like. I don't know. A lot of entertaining areas, a whole lot of bathrooms,
Couple of offices.
a couple of offices.
Yeah, okay.
That's true.
This probably has nothing to do with ADU, but if you have a large piece of property and you want to put a family compound on there where everybody has a house and it meets the regs, what stops them from doing that? As opposed to, to me, if you could do that, it's over and beyond what an ADU would be anyway.
I think depending on where the property is, its density.
Yeah.
And septic, right? Capacity?
And septic, I mean, if it's a really large property, septic is probably
Yeah, not
easily
an
taken
issue.
care of.
Interesting.
Colchester has really good soils.
Can the
So-
ADU get an ADU after that?
No.
Question.
That's your maximum.
Little baby.
Yeah, it's just interesting. It's just, usually when you get a large house, it's a large piece of property as well. So it's kind of not.
Yeah,
not
I
just
mean,
be
at
a
some
mute
point-
Discussion.
I mean, at some point, I think it's worth having it where we have no time for this anytime soon, but at some point, I think talking about, with conservation subdivisions where you do allow additional density in lower density areas, but you don't allow it to consume the entire
Footprint.
rural property is, I think, a valuable exercise to talk about. There's sort of trendy ways that you can add new housing without impacting large swaths of undeveloped land. And that would allow a couple if you have a very large property, a couple extra units. But you don't allow them to, you get these large roads, these large driveways, and all of a sudden, you're really impacting wildlife corridors or forest blocks or,
Wetlands.
I mean, they're probably 50% of the reason that the density is low in some areas. Some of it is also aesthetics, people like to see rural lands.
Yep.
And you increase the density, you don't see that anymore, and you don't have it. So,
No, I think it's a good start. The other, things that I found in ADUs that really limits what you can do, a piece of property, is because it's usually on like a half acre, 3/4 acre lot, and you're limited on your setbacks of what you can do.
it's true,
So
especially if it's detached.
even if it's attached.
Even more limited.
Kind of
Yeah, I
confines
guess.
it. But good start.
Okay, parking standards. So this was, so first part, we talked about this, there's 3 parts of proposal here. This first one we talked about a while ago, create a category for office buildings that's similar to shopping centers. There's more text below, but number 2 and 3 have updated recently. And those are 2 other concerns that we hear from people about for parking that has been a concern. 1, the number of parking spaces on a property shall not exceed 110%. You guys have heard me preach about this, I won't repeat the problem there. And then 3, build flexibility related to differences in tenants and marking conditions. Give some greater waiver authority to the board, and reconsider reserve parking requirements, which I'll get into in a minute. So shopping center and my office park is modeled after that. You guys talked about it, you didn't make any changes to it, but basically this says there's a limited amount of uses. If most of it is general office and you have a few other things, you can qualify for this office park definition, and bada bing, bada boom, that's what you are. As long as you maintain 50% of that in general office. I don't know if 50% is the right number, I threw it out there, but you guys didn't tell me to change it, so it's still there. Then you just have to tell us that, every time you come in for a change in tenant, that you are meeting this 50%, that these are that you're not exceeding these uses. And that's it. And otherwise, we don't care. You still have to do your wastewater permitting. That's the state's problem. Because there will be, if you're changing your tenants, then there's a need there. And your state building and fire safety needs are probably changing too, but again, that's a state issue.
So you're really comfortable, you were both really comfortable with that? Because I just don't know a lot about commercial property. Really.
Yeah, I think the only thing, and I'll let Zach share any thoughts he might have, I think the only thing, that I continue to think about is this 50%. A, is it too much? B, is it hard to keep an eye on? That's the only thing that comes to mind for me. I don't know if you had thoughts.
Yeah, and I apologize, I usually am quicker with my regs and flip them to the right page. The 3.5 spaces per 1,000 square feet, is that the same as medical office?
It's the same as general, I think.
General office, okay. Yeah, I mean, I think it's one of those things where
I think.
this might be actually used less so up front, but maybe expanded upon in the future, and I think like give an option for now. And I think like Kathy had said, if that 50% is too high, too low, just right, we'll figure it out.
That's in 10, right?
It's a table in 10. It's 10:01. I can just flip through it.
Hey, look, lighting standards. Sorry, not funny. Aha, here we go. Why are they not in alphabetical order, by the way? Office general, 3.5.
Yep.
So there is some incentive. It does reduce parking, but that's sort of part of the goal of this anyway. And it's been my experience that people who have medical office, they're gonna put more in anyway. They want it, they'll do it themselves. They don't need us to tell them to. People with medical office do not like to be underparked. But for all those other things, most of those are under that 3.5. That would be allowed. Personal services too, so that's why I chose 3.5. Because with the exception of medical office, most of those other ones that would be in that allowed use are under.
Interesting. It's interesting.
Yeah, I don't know who came up with all this crazy stuff.
Yeah, really.
I was just admiring the requirement for crematorium.
Me too.
I
Two as opposed to a
I've never
funeral
thought
home, which
of a
is
crematorium
one.
as having treatment stations.
Is that what it said?
It's copied from the personal service. I guess it is a personal service. But
It's a very personal
Who
service.
thought this through?
Treatment station.
it's the exact same as personal or business service. So.
That they call it a treatment, it was kind of weird.
I guess it's correct. But anyway,
It looks good to me.
We're gonna move on from that.
Yeah, let's go.
I like the radio and TV studio, get 2 spaces per employee. How many cars do they need?
Two per, that is crazy. Do people take 2 cars to work?
Well, maybe they have, I don't know.
Visitors?
Maybe they have their TV van and their personal car. They have to have both spaces to get to
Yeah.
and from.
At some point, we'll do a full overhaul of this, but not
maybe in daylight hours.
half enough. We could have a whole conversation about this, I'm sure. Okay,
Yep.
so moving on to new stuff, excessive parking. So we talked about this, so the issue with the excessive parking is especially if you are, and in full disclosure, Zach was on vacation when I wrote this. He's probably looking at it now for the first time and he's gonna be like, what have you done? Because he uses this much more than I do. And I put my filthy little hands in it. but here's my first crack at it, so I'll let Zach weigh in. So excessive parking, so I added this new section, I called it excessive parking. So it had been that you, no matter how many spaces you had, you couldn't have more than 110%. So as I said, especially with small numbers, this is really a problem. If you are required to have 10, you have 12, you're out of compliance, you are in violation for having 2 extra parking spaces. So I tried to scale it. Okay? Because we also don't want, I mean, I know the reason they did this. If, we don't want people having huge parking lots. We don't want the next, and I'm not saying it's Shaw's fault, I know I keep picking on them. I always pick on Shaw's because it's such a huge parking lot, and it's empty.
I was there right before Thanksgiving, busiest day of the year, wasn't even 70% full.
It's
It was
crazy.
crazy busy there, but,
It's so empty.
Yeah.
yeah.
So I'm sorry, Shaw's.
So part of it's used as a commuter parking lot, you know? People
Like officially?
unofficially. I've used it several times where I leave my
They don't
car
tow.
there and I get picked up and
Oh, that's
my
good.
car's there all day.
They should officially make it that way, and at least it's used. Food trucks,
A food truck could go there too.
coffee food trucks for the commuters.
Yeah, that'd be ideal.
But, you know, so you don't want a ton of excess for a really large lot because then it gets really, really large. So I tried to scale it. I worked out some numbers in my head. I don't know if they're perfect, but I did a lot of testing in an Excel sheet to see what it actually looks like. And this is sort of where I settled. So if you have less than 25 required parking spaces, you can have up to double of what's required without an issue. So that gives you flex. This is not just about what you build off the bat. It's also as you change tenancy without having a problem. So if you're required to have 15, you're required one day to have 25, and all of a sudden you have a less intensive use and you go down to 15, hey, technically you're still allowed 30, you're in compliance. So up to twice that. And the next bracket I did was 26 to 99 because I like nice round numbers. There's really no other reason for that number. And most parking spaces, most parking lots are under 100 spaces. This is going to capture the majority of our lots. And that I reduced by a lot, 130%. But it's still more generous than that 110% that we were allowing before. But even in the worst case scenario, we're not really excessively over parking anywhere. And then 100 plus, 115% of what's required. I almost didn't change it at all. I don't really have strong feelings about this one at all, but Zach might know more than I do if he's ever seen issues with people with a lot that big who feel like there's just concerns. But the big issue is with small lots, for sure. Have you seen issues with larger lots?
No, I haven't seen too many larger lots. Costco stands out, but they are sort of an outstanding parking need. Yeah, generally when this comes up is honestly lots under 30 spaces, because they don't have much wiggle room.
garage? Or is that a whole other thing, parking garages?
This is any parking count.
So you could do a garage?
You could. Is Costco at their 110? Do they max it out? Does that come up?
That is a legacy parking lot that I don't know
Okay.
much about. Other than that, they have a ton of parking, and they have parking across the road. So,
Used to live the golden man. When did Costco get that?
30 years ago, 31 now.
Any thoughts?
Does
Good.
Zach like it?
Yeah,
That's an excellent question.
it seems like it will be straightforward to apply.
You could be honest, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, I think, I'm just trying to think of the parking lot sizes I've written in staff notes, like the parking lot has X spaces, what's the most common number? For some reason, like 30-something stands out to me. So the 25 threshold, I just wonder if that might be
Make that
bumped up.
bigger, yeah.
But then would you keep it at 200%, so then 30 could be 60?
Yeah, then, you know,
That
maybe
seems
that
a lot,
calculation gets a
yeah.
little larger, but maybe that's fine.
Because 30 still does get a bump over what's allowed today. Well, you've given us a general plus, so we'll noodle on this. If we have anything that we think needs changing after.
I'm just thinking of a small lot, 25 cars, and all of a sudden now you can have 50 cars. I don't know. That seems like a lot. You're saying 10 cars, you know, 2, then all of a sudden you're over if you do add another one, but 10 to 20, you're doubling it. It's a lot. Have you seen that where you had small lots where they really wanted to double it? I can see like a 2 or 3 car parking lot, but that's unusual.
I think the bigger problem is not in that they want to build too much. It's if they change their use or
Yeah.
their tenant, and then all of a sudden their number changes, and the numbers are so, you saw the table, they're so
Yeah.
weird. You go from
Yeah, all over the place.
a crematorium to a radio studio with one employee. You could have 2 radio studio employees in a 4,000 square foot building. They're only going to need 4 parking spaces.
Yeah, all I can think of is the one by the high school,
Oh, yeah.
where I mean, maybe 1 or 2 people there.
Yeah.
But you can park at least 10, 12 people there.
Always, yeah.
Yeah, so on that, they'd be,
They
in
clearly
violation.
exceeded. Could be.
Well, it's flexibility, that's always good.
But in new construction, yeah, that could present a problem, because you're right, if they know they only need 25 spaces and, or 24 spaces, and they want to put 48 on, it's a lot of over parking.
I mean, also just for new construction
Yeah, I
as
hear
well.
that.
They're going to have to likely get a state stormwater permit, if it's new commercial, just based on new impervious. So they're sort of incentivized to keep their impervious
Yeah.
down, just
That's a
based
good
on
point.
treating that. You know, legacy projects, they're not really incentivized to do much if they're under a certain acreage right now, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's really just that balance. But also the lot coverage in these districts where commercial properties are is quite high, so that's usually not a concern.
Nobody likes to spend more money than you have to.
You want us to move forward for now?
Yeah. Move
Okay.
forward. I think you got it, though.
If we have any changes, we'll, and maybe it's just another one of those things we just keep an eye on, bring it back. Reserved parking. Oh,
So is this what it says now, or is this
said I
something
fixed it. I
you're
did- I did
recommending?
get- Okay, we'll bring that to you next time. It's one more thing we still have to work on.
Okay.
I guess I didn't get to this one.
So is this how it reads now?
This is the current text.
Yeah.
I don't know why it's cut off, though. Okay.
That kind of
To,
ended funny.
It does end funny. I don't know why. Okay. We're
I'll
gonna,
just
we're
let you
gonna
know.
reserve the reserved parking.
While you noodle on that, just know that I, as the administrative officer, have never required that the reserved parking be built. But it's a lot of power that I have. So, Keep that in mind. You might be dying to know.
Yeah. So just reserve parking, just so you know what the issue is, real quick. You have to build at least 2/3 of your requirement. You have to build it, and you have to reserve land for the rest of it. You have to show that it can be built. And everybody is subject to that. I'll give you the rec center, for example. The rec center, I believe, hit exactly 2/3. They didn't build a space over of the number of their required parking spaces. But they also had to demonstrate that they can build the other full third of the number of spaces. So they had to reserve some land for that. And that is the case across the board.
And has that parking lot ever been full?
Probably on the craft fair day.
Maybe on Craft Fair Day.
And if they
That's unusual, though.
expand, can they use that reserved space for an expansion? Like, let's say they wanted
the
to put
building?
a pool in at the rec center.
No.
Would they, what, they
They would
don't-
need even more parking spaces at
oh,
that
they would
point,
need more parking.
and more reserved parking spaces.
Interesting.
But don't they have a kind of a master plan where they have a place where they're going to put a pool?
I don't know if they publicly have a master plan.
It-
An
The only
approved,
approved plans are for what's out there.
yeah. I don't believe that they've,
Because during one of the walkthroughs, they kind of said, you know, this area is kind of designated for a future pool.
yeah, I think that they have some ideas. They have some,
Okay.
they've of course thought it out so that it's possible. But I don't believe there's any recorded or approved phase 2 or,
Okay.
but yeah.
That you've seen.
That's public.
Yeah.
Actually, I haven't seen anything. But yeah, that would require more parking spaces, more reserved parking under today's regulations.
Gotcha.
So I obviously haven't proposed a fix here yet, but it's tough. It's great that you don't have to build all of it, and you only have to build 2/3. But, you know, is there reservation of the rest of it? I don't know. We'll talk about it. Maybe you think it's a great idea. I just think the real problem is that parking is so hard to right-size. You know, a retail use that's something like a very popular Trader Joe's is going to have different parking needs than a retail use for maybe a woman's specialty boutique, the same square footage. So it's really hard to right-size
I'm
parking.
wondering, like with driverless cars, you know, because they have those now in California, like taxis, like if you could have a car drop you off, go back to your house and then come pick you up. I just wonder how transportation is going to, if transportation is going to shift dramatically in the next 20, 30 years. I'm just wondering, I don't know, but
Yes, but we don't know how.
we don't know how. So I'm just wondering if parking spaces, you know, if that's like a thing of the past to some degree, or this, you know.
Not
necessity.
yet.
Not yet.
I've been in one of those
Yeah, but
cars, by the way, if you ever want to see my video.
Of
Those
a
driverless
car.
cars, yeah.
Did you see the one on the news?
Taxis,
Did you see the one on the news tonight? This where this.
Did it crash?
No, there was a police scene. All the cars, police cars were
Oh,
flashing their
police
lights. They had
getting
taken out the suspect and was throwing him on the ground. And this driverless car came through here and kind of weaved itself and came very close to the person that was on the ground.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My ride was all of like 3 miles, so I was fine with it, but it was cool.
Wow.
I thought it was
There's
awesome.
this story that
You could
of a guy
have
going
a
around the
home.
airport.
You could have a
The
home.
driverless car just kept going in circles and wouldn't let him off.
Oh my gosh.
Right, I heard about that too.
Oh,
Where that one got a ticket and the policeman didn't know who to give it to.
At least
So
I
anyway,
did,
there's a
I didn't have to
new, you
tip
know,
them.
it's just curious, just thinking.
We're not there yet.
All right. ESCO requirements, I think we're near the end.
I think we're good, I'm good with
Try not to
this.
keep you guys as late.
I'm good with this.
Good, okay, we're done.
Yeah, I'm good too now.
I am,
I think we talked about it last time, and I don't think I've
We
changed
did.
anything, so, good.
Zach's happy we're happy.
We're done. How about that?
15,000. Oh, and there's the map.
So I'm gonna actually,
Hard to read map.
so with that in mind, I do want to talk to you guys about some calendar things. Is that okay?
Yep.
Sure.
So we'll just skip over ELMS?
Think
Yes?
so?
Skip
Yeah,
what?
this one-
Skip over the
That was like,
training.
you know,
Oh,
if it
right,
was
okay.
So we'll skip over
7:30 and
that.
you
Yeah.
guys flew through everything.
Approve the minutes, and then we get to everything on track.
Okay.
So I need
All right. I make a motion.
I need a second.
Second.
All in
Okay.
favor?
Aye.
Motion
You know what I
approved.
was making a motion about then.
Yeah. Minutes. All right, so now we need other business. Here we go. You're on.
Okay. So refining our calendar, because I want to see how we did with our development regs. And talking about town plan stuff. I spent some time this week with town plan scheduling, and I sort of rethought the approach to land use stuff. We originally talked about putting some of the geography, one geography per meeting. It felt disjointed to me to do that. So I wanted to propose to you guys this idea of kind of grouping them together by sort of similar types of geography. So you'll see land use here, sort of the more urban-y, denser areas. Land use here is sort of the, these are the sort of suburban-y areas. Gonna get big discussions on all of these. And these are sort of the rural slash, they're called right now the lands between, sort of transition areas between them. So I've slotted those in. The dates aren't necessarily important as to the specific dates, and some things may move around, you know. Parks and Rec may swap with transportation based on when the recreation center is available, for example, but, because I think we should try to do that over there. But let's focus on the beginning part of this. So here we are today. I left these sort of out here because looking to try to wrap these up, if we were still far off and still working on a lot of stuff, do you want me to make this bigger, Rebecca? I can do that.
Sure. I'm the only one squinting.
How's that?
I'll turn my neck. That's good.
I didn't want to, why is this? There we go. I think there's some advantage to trying to wrap this up fully as fast as we can before we get into the real meat of the town plan. So there's some potential, even though I said no January meetings, there's some potential that you have like a 10-minute meeting, if you're interested, on the 6th, just to warn a public hearing for February on these development regs. So all you'd have to do at that meeting, if there's a change to any of the parking stuff we just talked about tonight, but there's very little you have left, is you would do that, warn a public hearing for February, and that's basically your only business that night. You could do that at the end of January, but then I don't know when we actually talk about it. I don't know when we actually hold that public hearing, because that starts to create some issues here into this schedule. And I'm really hoping that we can have this big kickoff on February 17th. So if you do this big, let me actually move this. If you do this, that works out that you can have your public hearing on the 3rd. And you could take the 20th off. And this is a 10-minute meeting.
Would we all have to come to that?
3 of you would have to.
Sounds good.
So I thought you weren't going to be here on the 6th.
I'm not, but Zach
Okay.
will.
Zach, okay.
And I'll be here on the 7th
And the
and
7th.
the 14th.
I don't do, maybe we can get out of, can we, it's our first day. Just wondering, if we're just gonna be here for 10 minutes, if these 3 are definitely coming.
Good.
Yeah, I'm good to go.
Yeah, I'm good. So the one thing that's not in here yet is that one paragraph about the reserved parking.
Yeah, I actually might just skip it, because given this time frame now that I'm looking at it, I don't want to force you into a short conversation. That just might get saved for the next update. Is that okay?
This doesn't come up too often, does it?
It's used occasionally.
Yeah.
There's not been a situation that I've seen where someone can't accommodate the reserved parking in some capacity.
Like, we won't drop it. It just might have to wait for
Okay.
the next supplement. I just think that if we put this off till the 20th, I don't know where we hold the public hearing. Without really pushing things back. Because we don't want we can't have our kickoff. Oh, I have this on the wrong date. I'll fix that. Town meeting day is actually the 3rd.
Third, yeah.
I'll have to swap those. We don't want our public meeting on the 3rd. We don't want our public hearing on the 3rd. We don't want our big kickoff on the 3rd. So that would push our planned kickoff all the way to March 17th. That's a full month. So ideally, you review and take action on the 6th to warn for February 3rd. And you'd have no meeting.
Then we can't have a meeting on the 16th.
6,
Do you warn the same stuff? I mean, get it done this year?
you could. But I have to ask Zach, because I'm not here for that either. Actually, I don't actually know. I don't think you can. Only because to warn it, we have to have everything ready. And I still need to do some work on it. The 16th is too short a turnaround for me. I have to have the report ready. You know, that boring report that goes to the state. I have to have the abutters notices for the neighboring towns. I don't think I can have that done by the 16th.
But you can have it done by the 6th?
Yeah, I've got a
What's
couple,
going on?
it gives me at least a few more working days.
Okay.
And if at least 3 of you can make it, and if for some reason you can't, we could do a phone-in.
Oh, I'll come back if someone can't make it, if you give me enough time. As long as it's not terrible driving.
That's your first day, is that what you said? Do you typically go late that day?
No, you just never know.
Yeah. But the idea would be to keep it to, hopefully no changes. Other than that, that is the highlighted thing for zoning permit required, and then if Zach brings you anything for the thresholds for 0 to 25, but I don't anticipate anything like that, but that'd be a few minute discussion, you could change it, still warn it.
Yeah, the third, you'll have it anyways, public hearing, boom, we can close the door and send it to the select board.
Mhm.
Right there.
The other thing I can offer is that in the next 2 days, I can take a look at this and see what my turnaround time could be. And we could explore the 16th, but I think it's more likely the 6th. But
Let us know. I mean,
Yeah.
I can probably be here for the 6th, I just, it's like, I come home anyways, I don't stay
Yeah.
later, so.
But you only need 3 of you.
Baby coming in January, right around that time.
Nice.
My first, yeah. So
Nice.
I'm not making any promises, but
I'll come home if her baby.
You leave quick, we'll
Can
know
I
why.
just ask about the categories? So I'm not clear, like, when we talk about land use 1, will we also be talking about exit 16, 17, and 17?
Yep, so that's the stuff for land use 1. This is the stuff for land use 2. This is the stuff for land use 3.
Would it make more sense to like have exit 16 with like economic development? I'm wondering if there's a way of like, or housing with education, you know, just some way where they intersect with each other.
Yeah, I think I put education with Parks and Rec, just because these are not big chapters to write. They are not chapters that historically get a lot of people out. I know education is going to be really big for you guys at the State House. It's not big in the town plan.
Right,
So their own thing.
right. I guess I just don't see any correlation between exit 16, exit 17, they're exits, but then Severance Corner and the Fourth, they just, is there any reason not to try to kind of make them more where they're related to each other in some ways?
So
You know,
those,
where they cross, or there's an intersection with them?
their relationship to me is that these are more urban, dense areas. So these are our more core
Okay,
areas.
yep,
So we might talk about them, we'll talk about them individually, but these are places where we're seeing our infill, our economic development, our areas of growth potentially. And so there are themes that will run through all 4 of those areas.
okay. Yeah, I didn't see that, but that makes sense.
Yeah, and I don't think they're perfect on those other 2. There's some that you could, and Zach and I talked about it, that could kind of go in and out of either. But, people who are going to come talk about the Inner Bay are going to talk about the Bay, but
Yep, no, that makes sense now. I just-
those are going to be long nights. We might even start them, I might once we set the schedule, we might figure out if either of these could, start a little on the earlier side, because I think those are going to be your longest nights. These are the areas where we'll get the most people, without a doubt. There's only so many people who are going to show up and talk about economic development. This is a placeholder. We'll talk about this soon, because I do want to get these all on your calendars, but as you can see, I envision this as a daytime meeting. These are ripe for change, so if you guys are like, April's absolutely terrible for me, or that's school break, I think it actually is. Or we're still in session, move that one. But I think in order to encourage the business community to come out, I really want that to be a daytime meeting. We'd still meet that night. And you guys don't all have to come to all of these. But, you know, enough to hear from people.
I'm just wondering if the morning meeting if it could possibly be on a Monday? It's a morning meeting you're talking about?
Yeah.
Because we would be here for that.
We could split them.
We could be here for that, a morning meeting.
Yeah, I mean, we
I'm planning
could-
on coming back for the meetings unless the driving is really ridiculous.
We could do something like that. But again, the idea is to just have something like, we try to spread it out anyway, so that people who don't like to drive at night or work second shift have some meetings that they can attend during different hours.
Yep.
Might even consider doing one of these land use sessions on a Saturday. Most people do that with town plans. So at some point, we'll sit and spend, this will be an agenda item for us. We'll devote some real time to this calendar. This is just a very rough draft, so I had an idea of how many weeks we're talking, how many months we're going out.
And what's your end date? When would you like to have this finished?
Earlier than it shows on here.
But I don't know how far down you're going.
So we are due, we are required to have it approved, fully done by March of 2027. But the approval process alone is really time consuming, more than development regs, I think. Feels that way anyway. You have to get Planners Advisory Committee review, you have to have review by the RBC, you have to have select board hearings. Do you need two? I'm a little I haven't done one in 8 years.
I thought there are 2 because of our population, I believe.
Okay. So there has to be multiple select board public hearings, warned public hearings.
Yeah, no, it looks fine.
The CCRPC Executive Committee gets a vote on this. So there's just so much process. This is going to be reviewed against the Regional Future Land Use Map.
Yeah.
And we're going to be one of the first. I don't know what kind of timing that's going to add into this process, because I don't think we're going to be as consistent as they want us to be. So my original goal had been July 1st, just because that gives us 9 months of edits.
Public input.
Yeah, just the back end of it with the hearings and the writing and the rewriting, map making, it takes a lot of time.
Yeah.
And I wanted to give us a good amount of time for that. That's not going to be possible. We're not going to be done by July 1st. So it is what it is. You don't get in trouble, the lights don't go off if you're not done immediately on time, but it does impact your ability to collect certain impact fees or to apply for grants. We may be late, and we'll just have to be okay with that. Better to get it right than not.
I know this is just rough draft kind of idea. Can you send that to us though?
Yeah, I was just thinking about that, because then you can, if you have specific feedback for me to, I'm going to be changing this as it is, because as you can see, I've got town meeting day on the wrong one. I must have changed something in here. Yeah, any other thoughts, may change, like Sarita had suggested, maybe economic development is the Monday for the daytime thing and the Tuesday for the evening writing workshop. The other thing we'll talk about is if you want a subcommittee of editors. Some people really like to get in and wordsmith. I don't think it's a good idea to have 8 people wordsmithing. It's a lot of cooks in the kitchen.
We didn't do that last time.
You did
I'm a
it?
good reader.
Huh?
I said I'm a good reader.
You are?
Sure, I
Yeah.
can read
We're good.
after it's
But
done.
do you like to edit it?
Right, and we did, we did kind of
Yeah.
poke on things that didn't sound quite right and grammar. and all
Yeah,
that.
no, and I think it's fine for everybody to do that, but I think it's good to have a few designated people who, with every chapter, will like really get in there and really, really read and really edit and
We had a
really like,
student-
huh?
She would do that.
She was
We had a student from the high school. I don't know what happened to that program, but we'd have someone, there was one student, she
Supposed to
loved to
have
do that
someone.
stuff.
He was all about it.
Huh?
He was all about it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But the past plan is really well written. I mean, I really like the way it's written. I mean,
Yeah.
It just means we'd have to I think we could use that as a foundation. I don't think people want a whole new plan. I mean, I think they want stuff built in terms of how far we've progressed and, what we're looking at the future. But it's really well written.
I think so too, and that's
Yeah.
the first thing I said when I started here. I read the plan and I had so many compliments for it. I think it's a wonderful plan.
It is.
But there is still a lot of data that needs to be updated.
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot of
Yeah.
policy check-ins. You know that there's some policies in there that I don't think reflects where you still want to be.
Yep,
The land use pieces, they're big for a reason,
yep.
because I think you've been asked a lot of questions about some areas. You've noodled on some areas, and we keep kicking the can for good reason. What do you see as the future of Exit 17? You had some questions even come up when you were talking about the regional future land use map. Do you want residential housing at Exit 16? That came up. That's
The mixed use, turning it into
that's a town plan, I mean, it's a zoning issue, but it's a town plan discussion. Do you see that being more mixed use in the future? So those are big, so even though it's a great plan, it's been 8 years.
Yeah.
It's
No,
time to talk through some of those things.
I think it's a good skeleton,
Yeah.
I think we definitely have to build on it. But
And
I
some
think
things,
it has
maybe
good
don't
bones.
change at all. I mean, Parks and Rec chapter may still be super awesome. And it's just like little tiny updates. We put that there's this new center and, other things are blah, blah, blah. There's going to be folks calling for changes to the transportation chapter to focus more on sidewalks and rec paths. We know that. I don't know that we can deliver the full update that I think a few folks might want, but we got to give it some eyes. Energy chapter needs some serious data updates. Housing has new required chapter, or a new required focus, got to do that.
Yeah.
So good bones, but still a lot of work.
Yep. Okay.
Okay,
All good?
so,
Yeah, so we don't have a meeting in 2 weeks, right?
Correct.
correct, but
January 6th, hopefully.
hold January 6th. I will email Jordan
Yep.
with a confirmation for all the January dates.
Break the fourth wall.
Comes quick.
Yeah, I know, I did. I just wanted to put that to rest. And I will email this to you guys. Please send back any individual thoughts, like anything at all. But we are going to make this an agenda item too.
No, I think it's a good start.
It actually, I'll probably put it on for the 3rd after the public hearing and we'll probably just talk through.
Okay. Good. Gonna call it?
I make a motion that we adjourn our meeting tonight.
Second.
Motion, all in favor? Aye. There we go. Motion approved, 9:35. Thank you.
We got a gift from, is this from the town of Colchester? Is that what that is?
Try it out.
Anybody opened it yet?
Outside it almost a day.
Opening yours? Okay, I opened mine.
I'm open.
I'll find out what it is. Oh, thank you, letter.